When I first saw a picture of this set, I preferred the old one. Maybe I judged you too harshly because you look better in person than you do in pictures. This is the biggest LEGO City delivery truck ever made. Set number 60440 LEGO delivery truck was released on the 1st of June 2024, and here in the UK this will set you back £90, which is pretty expensive, but it does have 1061 pieces and includes 4 minifigures. As you can see, this set is also rated age 8+, but that doesn't really mean anything. I mean, my first impressions of the set are just, wow. I don't know, like, it's just so much bigger and better than the last LEGO delivery truck we got in the city theme back in 2010. And I had that one back then, that was pretty good, but this one, it's another level. And of course, it does include a forklift. Hooray, I can add that to my forklift collection because LEGO City, they do love forklifts, don't they? And I have quite a few. Along the top of the box, we can see a minifigure here with some tools. Looks like he's the driver, ready to do some maintenance. We've got a hot dog vendor and some warehouse workers with stacks of Lego. Around the back of the box, we can see the workers having a bit of a break time there, and that hot dog stand does look pretty cool. And I believe, apart from the hot dog vendor, all of these torsos are new. Here's a large picture of the truck, and this thing is large. In fact, it's so big, it might be too big. Here we can see some of the interior details. Nice little sleeper cab there. You can get into the engine compartment, remove the roof, and load up plenty of cargo in the trailer. This set has 9 numbered bags. There's quite a lot here. But that's not all, because there's also this separate unnumbered bag with a few large printed tiles and larger plates. And before I show you the next thing, all of these bags are sealed, so I was a bit surprised to find that this printed tile was just loose inside the box. Yeah, surely that should have been in the bag with the other ones. And here are the instructions, all safely protected inside this paper envelope here. And it feels a little bit heavy. There are also 3 instruction booklets in this set, but since each one features the same picture on the front, I can't tell you what each one does. Not like in the old days where you'd have multiple instruction booklets with individual pictures of each thing. So for example, this one builds the forklift, this one builds the truck cab, and this builds the trailer. I mean, that's probably what it is, but I'm just guessing here. It could be a little bit clearer. Oh, and don't worry, there is just 1 sticker sheet. That's it. These are the only stickers. Everything else must be a print. But hey, I'm not complaining. And if you're a LEGO Insider, which I recommend you should be because it's free, I'm not a sponsor for them, but I do recommend it, download the LEGO Builder app, scan the QR code here, and then you can register the set to your collection, and you can earn 20 Insider points just for doing that. 2 hours later, and I have finished it. And once you finish it, these are the leftover parts. The coolest ones here will probably be the extra hot dog, that beard element, and then the printed tiles here for the 1x1 tile with the hazard stripe and the can top. And there was also a brick separator included as well in case you make any mistakes, and I think I did maybe once or twice. But with that said, this thing came together pretty well, and there were moments where I was pretty confident with knowing what's going to happen next. I just kind of built it without relying on the instructions, so maybe it was just easy to build, or that maybe that's my 20 years of LEGO building experience come into play, but it went together nicely. 2 hours, and it's done. There are a lot of things to take a look at, so let's start off with the small ones with the minifigs. First up, we've got our truck driver here. He looks pretty cool with the beard and the hat on there with that new LEGO logo jacket, which I believe is a currently exclusive torso. And that print is continued around the back, and I believe those dots represent the logo for the LEGO designer team. If you remove his beard, he has another beard. Well, maybe he just had a trim up. Next up, we have this lady here who was supposed to be the hot dog vendor, but honestly, she does not look like someone who would be working at a hot dog stand. She just looks like a regular citizen, and the mobile phone, I'm not really sure. Is she supposed to be the hot dog vendor or the warehouse manager? Or yeah, I think that was the wrong torso choice, actually, and to be honest with you, I just hate that torso. It's overused. We need to get a new one. LEGO stop using it. And that haircut, I bet her name is Karen. I just have a feeling. Although maybe her name isn't Karen, considering her alternate face here is very smiley. And here we have our 2 warehouse workers here, sharing the same torso print. Another new one here. This one could work for many scenarios. For example, like a supermarket or, you know, your cargo depot, things like that. It's a nice, useful torso print. They do have different legs, so it's not completely the same. And the printing does continue around the back, but these minifigures do not have alternate face prints. But the forklift driver does get this hard hat here so he can stay safe at work. With the minifigs out the way, let's take a look at the side builds. First up, we've got the little hot dog stand here, and I quite like it because it's made to look like a hot dog as the stand, which is, it's just a simple thing, but I think it works really well. Got 2 hot dogs on the top there with your sauces, your mustard, and your ketchup. A little bit of umbrella there to act as some shade. And then down below here, we have a little refrigerator cabinet with a Vita Rush can in there. So, whilst on a quick lunch break, your workers can get something to eat and something to drink. although there's no suggestion of how these hot dogs get cooked. No grill suggestion, they just kind of sit on there. Where are the buns kept? Who knows? So many questions. Plus, there's only one drink and there's 4 minifigs, so I guess I'll have to share it. But I do really like this little sign here just to advertise the hot dog stand. It's got a sticker on there and the same on the other side. And considering there are only 3 stickers in this set, well, here's 2 of them. Next up, we have the forklift here, and this, just by looking at it on the box, I knew I'd like it, but I'd like it even more in person. Such an interesting design, probably one of the best LEGO forklifts in a long time. It starts off 6 wide at the front and goes down to 4 wide at the back. We've got the different wheels here, that kind of forward rake with the roll cage, the little emergency warning light on top. I'm not too sure about the dark azure used for the seating and the interior colour here. That seems a little unusual, perhaps. But what I really like is the parts usage here. This little fender piece is actually a Lego chair. So he doesn't have a chair in the cab. No, he's using the chairs here to cover up the wheels. Very nice building techniques used for this. Very clever. This is a good forklift. I have lots of them in my collection. Got a print around the back with the hazard stripe to keep clear. And it's the same on the other side. Of course, it does have the actual forks. We're using the rubber band. And Lego have been using this design for well over 10 years now. And that rubber band is so tight, if you accidentally let go, yeah, it's going to send your cargo flying. Many, many years ago, I think around 2008, I remember a Lego City cargo truck having a forklift, and it had a spring, which was much easier to use. But, yeah, maybe consider swapping out that elastic band for one of your own, because Lego's one is just far too tight. Aside from that, though, this forklift is pretty perfect. And that means we've got just one thing left to cover, this really, 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 really long truck. And of course, as you can see, this is a American style, big nose on the front style of truck. Not something I'm familiar with here in the UK. You don't really see this design very often, but of course the last Lego City truck from 2010 did feature a similar design. And when I first saw a picture of this set, I preferred the old one. Maybe I judged you too harshly because you look better in person than you do in pictures. And I don't want to spoil it for you if you get this set for yourself, but there are some really interesting building techniques, so many clever things, and this thing is heavy. As you can tell, there's over 1,000 parts packed into here because it's so densely packed, and same with the trailer, but more on that later. Oh, it's just, yeah, this thing is a beast. A couple of new parts here that I hadn't seen before, including the 4x4 tile. That's a cool part there. Then we have this new trailer hitch piece, which looks very useful, also used in a few other Lego City trucks from the same year. And I believe the tyres are new. They're slightly thicker and they just work so much better for this style of truck because sometimes Lego tyres just look a little bit too thin. Also around the back here, we've got a fire extinguisher, a little first aid kit, and the extra details here, the lights, the smokestack. But it's also quite smooth and clean looking as well. We've got a couple of steps so your minifigure can climb up into his truck with these opening doors, and they're the same on both sides. But if your truck breaks down and he needs to do a bit of maintenance, well, don't worry because he can. You can lift up the nose and get access to the engine compartment. It's a little tight quarters, but you know, it's there. There's a little engine detail. It's nice to see. They didn't have to do that, but they did. And I really like the use of the metallic silver for these grille elements on the front. That gives it a nice shine. And it's interesting because it comes down to 3 wide, 5 wide, and the overall thing is 6 wide. Then it gets 8 wide at the back. You can gain easy access to the interior by lifting off the roof. So that comes off in one big piece. And then inside we can fit 2 minifigures sitting up front side by side. Just got a steering wheel in there, then also a sleeper cab at the back. So you can put a minifigure sleeping in there. And he's got a little TV. Looks like he's watching some sort of nature documentary there with the tiger. And that also uses up the third and final sticker of this set. As you can see, you can comfortably fit all 3 of these minifigures inside. And there they are, off ready to go on their next adventure. So yeah, at first I wasn't a fan of this cab at all. In fact, I did my own digital design and plans to essentially scrap this and rebuild it and change the whole thing. But now that I have built it, I kind of don't want to do that. I do kind of like it. What do you think of this design? Tell me in the comments. And when I told you that truck cab was heavy, this is even heavier because there's so many parts. I didn't expect it to be so heavy and I didn't expect it to be so densely packed, but it really makes sense, that part count now, because again, comparing it to that 2010 version, this trailer is completely different. It's longer, it's so much more involved. It doesn't rely on any big panel pieces, apart from these large printed tiles, but even inside, there's just so many parts and mechanisms and all sorts. But I mean, first things first, we have to address the printed tiles with this printed Lego logo on a 4x4 tile. Then these 8x16 tiles here. So you've got one with this kind of brick breaking pattern. Then we've got another one here, the bricks flying through the air. Here we have another one of those Lego tiles, and this is actually a mirrored image of that other panel, so 2 different ones there, and this is the same as the other side with the bricks flying through the air. But they look so nice, and I'm so glad they're not stickers. See, Lego, you can do good prints. Why can't everything be a print? If you're wondering how this trailer can be supported whilst not hitched up to the truck, well then don't worry, it's got plenty of support from the 4 wheels at the back, and also a little kickstand which you can just fold away when you're not using it and it's ready to be driven off. And there's a little tow ball there to hitch onto your truck. But whilst looking at the underside, let me tell you, this is so much more complex than perhaps it needed to be. I don't know if they needed to put so many parts and so many different attachment points just to build this all up, but maybe that's just me, although yeah, if they could have used less parts, the set could have been cheaper, and that's always a good thing. And in case you didn't already know, each of these side panels does lift up, so we've got one here to get inside to our cargo, and another one, and of course that can be opened up from the other side, all independently. So you can have all of these panels lifted up, and you've got an extra storage compartment up front, which can also be opened up both sides. Plus you've got the loading doors at the back, and they can just be opened up as well. Would have been cool if it had some sort of ramp function so you can easily get up to this, because it's pretty high. I don't know how the minifigures are supposed to jump up into there, so like a ramp or some sort of folding mechanism would have been cool to see. And I do find it pretty funny how a truck, even as big as it is, can only carry 4 pallets of Lego. Yeah, you would have thought it would be more. In this front storage compartment then we have 2 little chests, and these contain a bunch of tools so you can do work on your truck in case it breaks down. And there you can see you've got a full selection of all sorts of different tools there in the flat silver colour. Unfortunately, there is a bit of colour leakage here with that medium azure. Doesn't really go with the colour scheme, but luckily that's the worst of it. So, yeah, maybe if that was white or yellow, it would have blended in a bit better, but that's just a bit of a nitpick. So when it comes to unloading your truck, drive up your forklift, and luckily the forks are already a decent height. Let's see if I can get this on. Yep, there we go. Gently pull it out. Ta-da! I successfully unloaded the truck. Down we go. And come on, release, 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 release. Oh, I guess we're dragging it with us. Nope, come on, stay there, stay there, stay there, come on. Yeah, okay, I don't think it's coming off. We'll just have to tip it. Oh, eventually. Okay, let's get our next pallet. Let's drive up here. There we go, line up the forks. And lift up. Reverse. Good, now let's release and... Oh, yeah, that will happen if you accidentally slip off this. So be careful, you've got precious Lego there. As for our precious Lego cargo, then we have the 4 pallets here, stacked with Lego, and you've got 6 of each of the prints here, representing different Lego city sets from recent years. So we've got a fire set, the emergency helicopter set, same again here, the police prison island, and the space shuttle set, and the same again there. Lego have done these prints many times over the years, and it's cool to see different ones. Although, it would have been nice to have even a bit more variety, instead of having just the same ones here, but maybe that's asking for too much, is it? No, that's not asking for too much, actually. Yeah, Lego, give us more variety. Of course, the prints are only on the top. The rest of it is just bricks and plates to represent stacks and piles of these Lego boxes. And thanks to the inverted tile on the underside of these pallets here, they just kind of sit nicely. So once you load them in, they're not really going to fall off. They're not going to be loose or anything. Unless, of course, you pick up the truck and shake it. But whilst driving along, they should just slide in nicely. And you shouldn't have any issues with your cargo coming loose. But I mean, overall, I'm very happy with this set. It was an enjoyable build. It's nice to have this. I do miss the 2010 one, but this is so much clearly better. That set was so much cheaper, less parts, less minifigures, didn't have a forklift, but it was a different era back then. Things were simpler. And if I had to pick between the two, I would go for this one because it is just that much better. Although maybe it's a little bit long for my Lego City Roads. Let's put it there and see how big it really is. Well, here it is on the streets of my Lego City, and it is so big. It's essentially 2 base plates long, so make sure you make some space for it, because otherwise it might cause a bit of a traffic jam with all these cars trying to get past behind it. Yeah. And I don't know how this big truck is going to make it pulling into my cargo terminal, because that's quite tight quarters over there, but I might have to make this truck a bit smaller, which brings me on to my upcoming video idea. I am going to make this truck smaller. As much as I love it, it's just a bit too big for the scale I'm working with. And look at some of my previous cargo trucks here. Look at this. This is an official Lego cargo truck set from 2013. Yeah, it's so much smaller. In fact, the cab of this new truck is basically the same length as this thing. So I might not make it this small, but I'm definitely going to make it smaller than it is. So if you want to see that, do subscribe and become a channel member so you can see it before anyone else. In fact, channel members, you've probably already seen that video by now. So yeah, I think I'm going to gather a few more parts and make this truck a little bit more, well, fit for my city. And if you want to see more of my Lego City, then please do subscribe. Check out the playlist. It's still a work in progress because there's so much more to do and so much has already been done. But this new truck is a welcome addition. What do you guys think of it? Tell me down in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for the Lego video, where I might be customizing it to make it a little bit different. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel or on one of my other channels as well. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share with your friends.